Hi everybody, before I get started on this video, I'm going to show you, first of all, how I use a brayer and the different brayers that I use, and I want to show you how to use them. But before I get started, I just wanted to show you my palette, and this is a demo. I'm not necessarily trying to make a painting. I'm using Warm White by Gamblin, Ivory Black, Gamblin, Manganese Blue by Gamblin, and this is Fashion Red by Williamsburg. It's my favorite red, and it's spelled Fanchon, Fashion Red. And I already have out about 50% cold wax to the oil paint. With the white, I usually put more white out because I like it to be more transparent. The more wax you use in your mixture, the more transparent the pigment becomes, or the paint becomes. And you want to get all the shine away, and believe it or not, I still have a little bit more shine in there, so I want to put a little bit more wax in that. Not much. About this much. Pull this over here a little bit. And you want to mix it very well. I'm not putting any Galca gel in this demo. If you're going to use Galca gel, what I do when I use Galca gel, I'll use about 15% Galca gel, and it's made by Gamblin. And what it does, it helps the painting to dry faster. But I'm not going to put it in. And I usually put about 15 to 20% Galca gel to my mixture. I don't know why I put them so close together. And you want to be sure to wipe your palette knife between mixing so you don't contaminate the colors. That needs a little bit more, and it's just a little bit more shinier than what I would like it to be. You want to put enough of wax in that your oil paint is no longer shiny. If you see that it's still shiny, put a little bit more wax in it. And I also want to make up some gray. Take a little bit of my black and some of my white. Now I can make that a warm gray or a cool gray by adding either some of the red to it or some of the blue to it. But right now I just want it to be neutral. And I'm going to push this down a little bit. Okay, those are the colors that I'm going to be using. And we'll be starting shortly. These are the different kinds of brayers I use right here. I'm going to explain each one of them to you. This is the one that I use the most. This is a Hobby Lobby, It's only $9, believe it or not, and it's very soft. They make two brayers. They make a hard one and they make a soft one. This is the soft one. I use this one more than any. I love this brayer. You can use it and use it and use it and clean it and clean it and clean it, and it still keeps going. I've probably had this particular one for several years, and it's still in good shape. They used to make a 2-inch one, which I have some of those too. They stopped making them. Why, I don't know. But they used to have a 2-inch one, and I use this a lot. They also have a big one. They used to. I'm assuming that they still make this one. This one probably is, I'm going to say about 8 inches. Might be 9 or 10, but it's a large one, and it's real soft as well. They have red handles, as you can see. But this is the one that I use all the time. And they also make a hard one. This one is as hard as a rock. It is a black handle. It's hard. And this is a Hobby Lobby as well. The soft one is the red handle. The hard one is the black handle. And I use them both. I don't use the hard nearly as much as I use the soft. And then this one I use, this is, I get this from Blick. This is called an Innovart brayer, and it's not quite, it's not as hard as the hard brayer, and it's not nearly as soft as the soft brayer. This is what it looks like when it's new. It has a purple handle, and it's Innovart, I-N-O-V-A-R-T. And it's halfway between your hard and your soft, and it's the one with the purple handle. Innovart makes several brayers, but this is the one that I use. The other one that I use between the very soft brayer and the very hard brayer is this brayer. It's not quite as soft as the Hobby Lobby and not quite as hard as the Innovart. This one is made by Squeegee Press. I use this one quite often too. They come in various sizes, down from 2 inches the whole way up to real big. It's a very good brayer, and I like it a lot. It's not quite as soft as this, not quite as hard as that. So it's somewhere in between. The other thing that I use is the rubber brayer, or the styrofoam brayer. Or it's a roller. You can get these at the hardware store, and craft store sells them too. A lot of people say, well, you can't clean those. And the way I do it is I'll dip it into my OMS, my odorless mineral spirits, and then put paper towel over it and squeeze it. And here's an example of one that I've used many times, and you can see it's still good. And I just pour or dip it into Terpenoid or Gamlin's Gamsol. That's what I use, Gamsol, and I'll get it good and wet, and then I will just simply wrap it in paper towels and squeeze it. That's how I clean these. And the other ones you can clean with baby wipes, or you can spray it with Gamsol and wipe it off. I don't clean them while I am painting. What I'll do is I'll just take a paper towel over them and wipe them as clean as I can. Sometimes I don't even clean them. I'll just put another color on top of it. That way I know that those colors are going to harmonize. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the different effects of the different brayers and how to charge them. The first one that I'm going to use, and this is a board that I use it's a cradle panel that I use it for demoing all the time when I'm teaching. It has lots of layers. It's very hard and dry. And I'm going to use the hard one from Hobby Lobby first. And I want to show you how to charge your brayer. You're going to, now this is not charged, but you can see it has a pattern on it. If I wanted a pattern, I wouldn't charge it the whole way. that interesting pattern would show up on my painting. But I am going to, when someone tells you to charge your brayer, you want paint everywhere. I usually go this way and I go that way. Now I had paint over the entire roller. That's called charging. And since this is a hard brayer, I'm not going to, and this is textured, a hard brayer will pick up most of your texture, and I'm just going to lay it on. I'm not going to put any pressure on it whatsoever. Can you see where it picked up the texture? It's just picking up texture. That's all it's doing. Where the high points of the board or the panel. There. Now that's what a hard brayer will do. It will just pick up the high points of your texture. That's why I use a hard brayer. And this one is the next hardest. This is the Enovart. It's soft, but not nearly as hard as that, and not nearly as soft as the other. So let's charge this brayer. You're going to see it gives you a little bit more coverage than the hard brayer. And that one is the Enovart. Next, we're going to go to the squeegee press one. Let's use a different color. Let's go into the red, charge it with red. Probably won't be a whole lot of difference here. So that gives you even more coverage. And this is the very soft one by Hobby Lobby. And it will go into the nooks and crannies of your you can see that gives you even more coverage. And this will go the whole way down. Charge it. That will go down way into the textures. What I use this for most of the time, I just went into my colors. I'm going to put some white down here, and I'm going to show you how I blend with this. This has white on it, so let's use this one. Okay, now what I use this for is to blend most of the time. If I don't want any line whatsoever, I'll use this. And this will just simply blend those colors together. So a lot of times if I want to soften a line or something like that, I will use the foam roller. Let's just put a line down here. I say I don't want that entire line to show. I want it to be blended somewhat. So what I could do, see how nicely that blends? That gives you a really, really soft line. So, some other things that I will do with my Brayers is I make edges and I draw lines with them. Let's go into the white, and what I do, I'm going to wipe this off. And this is how I clean them between colors if I'm painting, if I want to change colors and I don't want them to blend. I'll just wipe them off and get most of the paint off of it. What I'll do is I'll just take the edge of the brayer. It's not moving. I'm just going to pick up paint on the edge. You see how I just have paint on the edge, and I can draw, make marks with it. And also, if there's no paint on it, it will dig in and make shapes. So, now you know how I use my edges. Now the white one probably will make better lines. The hard one, I should say. Here I'm actually, see what the hard one is doing is going down to the original blue. It's not necessarily making white lines. At first it does, but it's going down into the wax because it's a harder one, and I have the darker line as opposed to the white line. I hope that helps you guys. Again, I'm using cold wax, but you can also, I use Brayers also for acrylic. And I'm just going to smooth this out a little bit. Let this dry. It works exactly the same way with acrylic. So it doesn't matter what medium you're using, but I make most of my paintings with a brayer. If you have been following me for any period of time, you know that I paint a lot with Brayers because I like the effect that you can get with Brayers where you can't with anything else. So I think I have another one here that's fairly textured. Just got to put one coat of something on top of this. And this is another demo piece. And this is the hard brayer. Can you see that how it picks up the texture? Isn't that nice? This is another demo piece. And this is the hard brayer. And there's white, there's red. I think I'm going to go over this with some gray, because I want to put some gray in it. Eventually this will become a painting. And I'm charging it, as you can see. And I'm using the Innovart, which is going to give me a little bit more coverage. Than the hard one. And I'm going to let that dry. Maybe this will become a demo piece for a video a little bit later. So, thanks for watching, guys. And just as a reminder, I do teach workshops, and I have 4 coming up between February and April. I have 4 of them altogether, 2 in acrylic and 2 in cold wax. So, and I'm located here in Harrisburg. I'd love for you to be able to come over. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Oh, and please subscribe if you haven't. Bye-bye.